Brought to you by the Wallach Art Gallery at Columbia University Lenfest Center of the Arts.
And I'm actually going to join, we've done a nice little half circle here, so I'm going to join the half circle. And let's, maybe you'll stay. Yeah. We're going to start by thinking about what
These two?
see. We're going to look at both of them, so that one. But the thing I'm concerned about is the light that's on your video camera.
Oh.
See how I can't, yeah.
I forgot that
So
part.
if you can turn the light part off, that would be great. Okay. So let's actually, can you see this one from where you are? Can you see over here? Or do you need to move around a little?
I need to move around.
Okay. So why don't you just come over to the side a little?
Okay.
Yep.
Good job.
So can everybody see this okay from where they are?
Yeah.
So what I want you to do is let your eyes start at the top of the painting
Yeah.
and travel down. So you're going to be looking at that.
All the way down?
Yep. And see what you notice. Think about who you're looking at. So we'll start with this one. Think about who you're looking at. What does this person look like? Is it a man or a woman? What are they wearing? Right. So what do you notice? What were you going to say?
It's like a stylish Maya Angelou.
Oh, a stylish Maya Angelou. I like that. Why a stylish Maya Angelou?
It has with the,
I'm looking for it.
she was the writer and the poetry for the book, African American.
So she was African American. She's a writer and a poet. You said she had a headscarf.
What?
You just say she has a headscarf?
What?
What did you say about her?
She looks very pretty.
She is very pretty,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
What else do you see?
And wearing this thing.
She's got a really beautiful
Yeah.
colored scarf on her head, right? Really pretty. What colors are in her scarf?
What?
What colors do you see in her headscarf?
That has rainbow in it.
Right.
Kind of like a rainbow. Does it have all of the colors of a rainbow?
Rainbow's up on top.
Kind of up on top. What colors are in a rainbow?
Like yellow, red, orange.
I see something else in there too.
Yeah, I said yellow, mellow yellow. Red
Yeah?
and green.
Green is the one I was missing, right? So what it doesn't have that a rainbow has is purple. And it doesn't have blue, but it has the other ones, right? It has red, orange, yellow, and green. And what else does she have on to make her look even more beautiful? You're wearing some of these.
Earrings.
She's got earrings. What else? Necklace. She has a really pretty necklace, right? And what can you say about her shirt? What do you notice about her shirt? Should she walk outside today wearing that?
That is
Like, no.
that is made with the a silky window curtain.
It does look a little bit like a circular window.
It's off the shoulder,
Yeah,
kind of evening wear looking, maybe.
maybe a little evening wear. Can you see all the details on it, or not so much?
We can see that.
You can see it, but can you tell exactly what shape it is?
It has like 1, 2, 3, 4, 8 sides maybe.
It has a lot of angles, it looks like, right?
Angles.
Yeah, kind of, or parts that stick out, right? A lot of different elements. And I'm going to come stand over here so I can see from your perspective what you can see. Maybe you can see it pretty well from over here. And so why shouldn't she wear something that has this really beautiful neckline that looks like evening wear or a circular window curtain? Why shouldn't she wear that today? What would happen if she walked outside wearing that today? What's today like outside?
Like celebrating Kwanzaa.
She'd be really cold, right? So what does that tell you about what season this might have been painted in? What time of year? We're in winter now. Is that winter clothing? No. So when might it have been? Summer? Maybe more like summer, right? Because it's something that you...
Kwanzaa is a
more
new
temperature.
holiday.
What did you say?
Kwanzaa is a fairly new holiday.
Oh,
It's one of the newest ones.
I did not know that.
Newer than Christmas, a lot newer.
That is true. That is true. So she's probably not ready for
Lincoln's
Christmas. She's probably
birthday.
dressed for summer. What about this lady?
Yeah.
What can you tell me about what she's wearing?
A cape.
Something that goes around her, right? Like a cape? Is she a superhero?
Whatever you say.
I think she's probably not, but she does have like a big scarf. Actually, like see my sweater?
Yes.
She's
And you
got
look just
something
like
like that wrapped around her, right? And what about the rest of her?
Badges.
She's got a really pretty pin,
Stuff.
right?
A shiny golden.
It's really shiny, really gold.
I say like badge, like that.
It kind of looks like a badge. From where I'm standing, I can see some gemstones, like a sort of square gemstone in the middle. I can't tell
green.
what it is though.
Color green.
Kind of green?
Yeah.
Yep. Yep. And what color is her dress?
There's rosy red.
That's her cape sort of thing, right?
Right.
And then what else?
Over here, there's pale aqua.
There's sort of a light blue, right? And then this different. How about what's on her head? Is it the same as what that lady's wearing on her head, or is it different?
Looks different.
What looks different about it?
The rainbow.
So the colors are different, right? And this painting is actually called Woman in a Blue Turban, right? So that wrap on her head is like a turban. And that one is just portrait of a black woman. So they're different in the names, right? And they're different in what the people are wearing. And they're different in the way that they're painted. Which one looks more like a photograph? If you had to pick this one or that one?
I would like to say both.
I'm going to stand in front of one. So if you think this one looks more like a photograph, raise your hand. Right? If you think this one looks more like a photograph, raise your hand. You raised your hand for both.
Twice.
You did say both, okay. Okay. Most people said this one looks more like a photograph. Why? They're both paintings.
I like them both.
You like them both? Good.
Yeah.
I'm glad I'm not making you stare at something you don't like.
What I like with that white bra, like
It's
this
like a
white
shirt?
things and the dress, and the turban on top,
Yeah.
the same as she.
Okay. So is this the same shape, her turban? Is it the same shape?
It could be somewhat different.
It's a little different. This one's really round.
Yeah,
This one's tighter to her head,
yeah.
right? But this one kind of looks more like a photograph because we can see all the details. Right? You're saying it was hard to see what her shirt was exactly. That's because the artist who painted this, the artist's name is Edward Manet. He used big movements with his arm.
Edwin Manet.
Yeah. Do you think this artist used big movements or small movements with the paintbrush? What do you think?
Like this size.
Like this size? Well, if you look here, you can see a swipe of the paint. You can actually see where the brush went. Can you see where the brush went here? You can see paint, you can see the color, but do you see like brush strokes
All the way around.
all the way around? This one looks pretty smooth on the surface. Does that one look totally smooth?
Kind of.
A little bit, but not fully smooth. So they look a little different, right? And that's what makes this one look more like a photograph because everything has edges. And do you think we said her hair wrap and her dress are different colors. Do you think they're made of the same kind of cloth or a different kind of cloth based on what you see?
Fabric.
But is it the same fabric? Like is one wool and the other one is also wool? Or is one cotton and one's wool? Based on what you see, do they look the same or different?
I think that's a wall.
I think one of them might be wool. I'm not sure if they both are. So, I've got something with me.
So these two friends.
What's this? What is that?
There's patterns inside the background.
There's
Never
patterns,
forget it.
there's fabric, right? What about this? Also patterns and fabric.
Oh, I see a symbol of the music.
Similar. And let's see if I can find a different one in here. Oh, that's a nice colored one. Right? I'm going to pass these around.
How many fabrics are there?
I think I just have 3 different ones.
3, 1?
I think so. But I might, yeah. I have a few pieces of each. So I'm going to give, I'm going to lend these to you. So I'm going to lend you this one.
Thank you.
I'm going to lend you this one. I'll come back to you if I have enough to lend you one today.
Okay, sounds good.
Lend you one?
Thank you.
And I do. I think I do.
Yeah.
Or maybe it's connected.
Wow.
You have
I
a
get the best
giant
one.
piece of fabric.
What was that feel for?
I need a little bigger piece of fabric than that one. Oops. Apparently these are the small pieces of fabric. Thank you. And that one. Bigger, not bigger. And then here's another one.
Can you feel that with the fabric?
And while I'm here.
You can see how slightly smooth like this.
And let's see.
So
That one.
if you guess like a wool or something, but you can feel it first.
Yeah, oops. One piece. Now you get a giant piece of fabric. You're welcome. And you get a really large 2 pieces. Take one.
See, we got the next one.
And
Look at that one.
another one. Oh goodness. I'm dropping fabric everywhere.
Oh,
That's all one piece.
thank you.
You're welcome. And I'm going to give you a 3rd piece.
Thank you.
Tiny little one. So as I'm coming around with all these pieces of fabric, feel them and see what they feel like and compare them. Do they all feel the same? Do some feel different?
It's really nice and smooth.
So they're all nice and smooth. Is one heavier or lighter than the other one?
Slightly. I think it's slightly light.
Yeah, slightly light. So they've all got different weights in terms of the thickness. I don't mean, because they're all different sizes, so you can't weigh them one against another, but they're different thickness. And which one's the softest? You think that one's the softest? Yeah? Do we all agree? Does anyone feel differently? Which one's softest? If you touch each of them, which one is the softest?
What?
Which one feels the most soft to you?
Which is the softest one? For?
Ah,
Hey, I see the soft one. The symbol of the music.
this
You think
one?
it's that one? That one? So a few of you are saying the red one, you're saying the one with the little dots on it. What do you think? Which one's softest?
I think this
I
one.
think the red one. If we can't touch her, but if we could, which of her colors, the red, the blue, or the white would be softest? Do you think, based on how it looks?
I think it's the red.
The red one you're holding or the red one that she's wearing?
The one what she's
The
wearing.
one that she's wearing. The red looks softest? What makes it look the softest?
For example, it's really short fur.
Okay.
Oh, you think maybe we're interesting.
So I think it's like something that's warmer, like wool, so it might feel nice and soft to touch it. Okay. Which one would be the smoothest? Which do you think would feel most slippery if you could touch it? The ones from the ones in your hand, which one's smoothest?
I think it's like this one.
You think that one? I might agree with you on that. Let's see. How about on her? Which one would be smoothest?
Just the same as red,
You think the red one also?
right?
Or do you just like red?
Her dress would be smooth.
I think her dress looks like it. See how it looks a little
Kind of
shiny?
silky.
I think it looks like it would be pretty smooth. But so the artist who painted this was being really careful to show us all those details and show how beautiful her dress was and how soft her cloak was and how round her turban was, being very careful with all of those details. So is there anything else you want to think about with the cloth in your hand or you want to say about it before I ask you to give me back the loans I've given you of those pieces of cloth?
So, I got a question.
Sure. What's your question?
So, So I'm gonna say my question is how to make a silk fabric.
Well, you can't make a silk fabric from what you're holding, but silk comes from actually cocoons
Cocoons?
of a silkworm. And what you do is once the silkworm is out of the cocoon, you can take it, it spins it out of thread, kind of like a spider spins a spider web out of a long piece of web. The silkworm makes a cocoon out of one long filament of silk. And so you unwrap it, and then you can weave it into silk.
Want to make sure the silk has to be nice and shiny.
The silk would be nice and shiny. May I take your cloth back?
Sure.
Here you go.
Thank you. Thank you. I got it.
You're very
Perfect.
welcome.
Thank you. Thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you. Pictures are painted by different painters
Both of these women.
in the 1800s in Paris. And
That's in France.
But what the 1800s was?
that was 1827,
Yes,
and this is 1863.
1863. Why is this so different? Did they know each other?
They didn't know each other, but it's so different because the style changed a lot.
Yeah, 1863 and 1827.
So
That's a
36
fairly
years.
long distance in the years.
Exactly, and so
Good point.
over that time, the way that painters were painting changed a lot. We said this looks pretty different from that one.
Yeah.
Right, that one looks sharper and clearer. This one looks a little bit less detailed,
Darker.
a little darker too in the background.
Yeah,
And so
fairly dark.
it's very dark, right? And so artists were thinking, how can I make something that's modern? How can I make something that's new? What does that word mean, modern?
Yeah.
What does modern mean?
Any
What year
effect.
was this again?
1863.
What?
1863.
1863? It was the time Lincoln was president.
Okay, so right
Lincoln.
before the Civil
You
War.
can filter
right?
whatever you want.
Yep.
Lincoln.
But this is so. But what's interesting? Why was the Civil War? Why was there the Civil War in the U.S.?
They was during the Civil War.
Why did that war happen?
Why did it happen? They didn't agree.
They did, but what didn't they agree about?
They wanted, and they had I can't explain.
Okay. Well, one result of the Civil War was that slavery ended in the United States, right?
Yeah,
This is before slavery ended in French Caribbean. This is after.
yeah.
And so there's a lot that changed in that time, and the paintings changed a lot. They looked really different. And that is part of why all of the paintings and photographs and other sculptures and artwork in the exhibition, all about Black women. And Black women that artists are taking pictures of and painting, and what has changed after slavery has ended,
Yeah.
and how it makes art really new and really modern and different.
Cool.
Yeah. So are you ready to go look at something else? Are you bored?
Excuse me.
Don't worry. Are you ready to look at something else?
That's
So
what
we're
it's
going to carefully stand up and fold our stools back up again.
So
You can
here's
also
the second
come over
here.
Okay. So what's going on here? Does this look like what the paintings we just looked at?
The Summer Olympics.
What makes you think it's the Olympics? What looks like the Olympics?
Like how to fly up in the sky.
Okay, she's flying, isn't she?
Mm-hmm.
But does she have wings?
Kate.
Oh, it looks like she has tape. She's actually hanging from something. She's suspended. Can you tell how she's suspended?
There's the candle on her mouth.
It looks like a candle, but it's not a candle. You can see better here that she has something hanging from her mouth this time. What's that?
There's the chain and there's the binocular.
Looks like a binocular. There's actually a cannonball coming out this end.
Cannonball?
So what does that make this if it's shooting a cannonball?
Yeah, like the circus. It looks like the circus.
That's exactly right. So she's on a trapeze,
Yeah, exactly.
Right, and
She's a circus performer. And this is the same woman, except instead of holding something in her teeth below her, she is hanging from her teeth.
They're like playing tennis.
She looks like she's dressed for tennis, but she's
Yeah.
actually performing in the circus because this was
Is that
over 100, probably about 140 years ago.
1, 2, 4?
So people wore different
What
clothing.
year was that?
This was 1879.
Yeah, what about this?
About the same, 1880.
1879?
1879, 1880.
80?
So
Yeah.
did people wear tiny little circus outfits then?
Yeah.
Was she dressed like they would dress in the circus today? Who's been to the circus?
A
Right?
bunch of us just went together to the Big Apple Circus.
Oh, that's
Remember?
my favorite circus.
Did you go to the circus with us last month?
What?
Did you go to the circus last
Last month we remember we went to
Circus?
circus.
Yeah, you were there,
Rather
right?
recently, yes.
Yeah, we went
Yeah.
together.
So were the performers wearing great big costumes? Or were they wearing little leotards?
I don't.
Do you remember?
I think both together.
Both together. If you were on the trapeze, which is what she's doing here, what would be
I
easier
shouldn't
if you
have
had a
done
great big
that.
dress on, or if you had a smaller costume? What do you think? If I were hanging upside down on a trapeze holding a can in my
Yeah.
teeth, which I'm not going to do, but if I were doing that, should I be wearing the dresses that they used to wear with great big? The skirts were like a big bell. Could you find the trapeze with a dress like that on? No. So she's wearing shorts, but today in the circus, people's costumes are even smaller.
And skirt too.
Say it again.
And skirt.
And so skirts are smaller too today as well. That's true. Can you see what she has on her feet?
A slipper?
They're like little ballet slippers almost, right? And
Even the ice skating shoes.
you know, it kind of looks a little bit like ice skating shoes because it has like almost like a boot on it. It comes up her ankle, but there's no blade like there would be on an ice skate. And this isn't paint anymore. This is something called pastel.
Pastel.
Have you ever drawn with
Which
pastels?
is like oil pastel.
So this one might be a chalk pastel, but
Or
the
chalk
same
pastel.
idea.
Like
right?
I remember using pastel with the oil pastel that I went to the George Winkie High School.
Okay, so the artist who did this is Edgar Degas, and he really liked to use chalk pastels. And
Like a blackboard chart.
kind of like blackboard chalk, but a little softer. So it kind of looked more like charcoal.
Or charcoal.
So if you, I'm not going to do this because I'd be in a lot of trouble, but if I rubbed my finger on the surface of the chalk, what would happen to the chalk?
Make sure to wear gloves and then use the chalkboard eraser.
Right? So it would smudge, right? That's why you'd want to wear gloves so you wouldn't get dirty. So there's something funny here though.
What do you call this?
This is called Miss Lala.
Miss Lala.
Miss Lala at the Fernando Circus. So the performer, her name was Miss Lala. And she was a very famous black circus performer.
That's the last name, Lala.
It's her circus name.
Circus name.
I don't actually know what her full name is, right? You know how some performers have a stage name?
Or you can also say the nickname.
Kind of like her nickname, but I don't know if her friends called her Miss Lala or if that was only the name she used when she was performing. So a little different from a friendly nickname. But if we look at this, can you see squares all across the surface? Right, so if you look, do you see the squares over here? Take a look over here.
Look at
See the squares?
Yes.
See how there's squares everywhere?
It has 4 sides.
The squares do have 4 sides, and this is kind of like someone's put almost like a grid like graph paper on top. That was for something really special. Because if you have a drawing that's this size and you want to make it into a painting that's this size, how do you copy it?
You can use the photocopier.
Today we can use a photocopier, but they didn't have a photocopier in 1879. So how else could you copy it?
In the newspaper?
You could copy it in a newspaper. So imagine this. Say I want to copy her feet. I would draw a square around her feet, and I would know the size of my square. And if I want to make it bigger, I draw a square on my next
Yeah,
piece of paper and I make the square bigger
oh, to make a grid.
to make a grid. And I draw what's inside exactly the same way in each square, it just is bigger on one of them. So Degas put the grid across his drawing so he could copy it.
Did he copy it?
He did make a painting based on this.
And
Is
then
it here?
make sure to label on the corner of the square.
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
Do you want to try that? Do you want to test it out? Okay, so what we're going to do, I'm going to give each of you a clipboard.
Here's how you make a grid.
I'm going to give each of you a clipboard with a piece of paper and a pencil. And what we're going to do is each of you is going to draw 2 squares. So I'll show you what you're going to do. In fact, I'm going to give you all the boards and we'll do it together. So. You might need to put the camera down.
Oh, sorry
so
about
you
that.
have 2. What is that showing us?
I'm sorry, which one are you pointing at?
This one, sorry.
Okay.
Can you see what it's showing us? What is that? What is that a picture of?
Lady? Lady?
A lady, right? And what can you tell me about her hair? We don't see much color in her hair. We don't see much color anywhere. But is her hair down? Is it up? Does it have glitter in it? Is it braided? Is it under a scarf? What do you think? Is it like mine?
That's called the fabric hood.
It's called a what?
The fabric hood.
It's fabric. She's got her hair wrapped up in a headscarf. Right? This looks like maybe it's hair or a bow, but this looks like a scarf. What about, how has the artist's name is Henri Matisse, what has he used to draw her? What do you think? Lines. Has he used a lot of lines or not so many lines?
Not so many lines.
Not so many lines. So we're going to try an experiment. We're going to take a clean piece of paper. So I think you have more than one piece of paper on your clipboard. You can open the clip and put a different one on
And we
top.
forgot, that was after the grid. So let's turn this page.
Why don't we do this? Do you want to do it just like that, or we can take it off?
Then we could take it for it.
I know.
8 lines. Look, I drew curly. What do you think of that?
Cutting your nose is taking some interesting
Isn't that really short? But it's easy way for you to draw 8 lines
Now,
that quickly use.
what is this? What am I holding?
Those are satellite wires.
They look like telephone or satellite wires. They don't conduct anything, but they are colored wires. And we can twist them into all kinds of shapes. So, I said I was going to give you 4 lines, and you said then 2 and then 1. This is your 1 line.
1 line.
So if I were going to twist this into a face,
Bends over here.
I can bend it, right? I can crimp it, so if I squeeze it together, it will stay together. I can twist it, all different ways that I can shape my wire. And say I just want to make an eyeball out of it. I
Like-
might just wrap it around
Like a ribbon bread bag.
and twist it, right? So I won't make you do a face with just 1 line, but maybe we can do just a couple. So how do I make a second eye if I'm making 1 eye like that? How would I make the next one? What should I do?
You can use like this one.
Yeah, so I can twist it around again and make it like that, right? And then it looks like a bow, but it could be 2 eyes.
A bow.
How would I make the nose?
So 2 eyes and then, yep, that's the nose.
That's a nose. Right? Could I then make a mouth?
Squiggly.
That look like 2 eyes, a nose, and a mouth?
One more.
One more, okay. Now it looks like it's kissing somebody. Right, so there's my mouth. 2 eyes, a nose, and a
Oh,
mouth.
I like that.
And then I have extra wire that I can make come around to make the shape of the side of the face. Right, and if I have another piece, I can put it around that way. So I'm going to give each of you, how many pieces of wire would you like? Anywhere
You can
from-
choose any numbers.
Well, I don't have that much wire, so you can choose up to 3. How's that? Okay, and if you say you only want 1 and you start with 1 and you need more, I can give you more.
We could.
But, so the drawing was practice. I'm going to give you wires to start. So, what colors do you want?
I'm gonna pick the blue one.
Blue.
That was my favorite color.
Okay. Do you want another one, or is that good to start?
I have another one.
Okay. Can I choose this one?
Okay,
And you give me red.
red and blue.
Jim, what would you like? What colors?
I take red.
Red. Do you want a second one? Do you want another one or no?
No, thank you.
Okay. What would you like, Danny?
Blue.
This blue or this blue?
That blue.
The light one or
This one.
dark one? Okay. Do you want another one?
I gotta see how I'm going to use for it.
You want a green one? Please.
And then let me just put this pencil thing.
Yellow. This is yellow and white. There's yellow.
I'll see how that works.
Purple and pink.
Yours?
You can choose any colors you want, but
I don't know that I have pink. Would you like red or white? Oh, maybe this is pink. I don't know. Is that white or is
that's
it
good.
pink? So, I like how you got the shape. And
Can you see this?
you said you couldn't draw. That's a really nice face.
Let's just try.
It's
That was really nice.
as you twist over
The
here,
only reason
it's
is there's hair.
really easily bends over.
Very good job.
With those. Look at that. Okay.
Yikes.
Right here, can you see it? Yep.
It's going to take another couple of minutes. And then it's actually going to be 10 plus to
Comes the
finish.
time. Comes the
Yeah, I just made for it. There's bears on it, and eyes and mouths and coaties. That's one. Just did the same as this one.
So while we're finishing up, I love how the hair bounces. Thank you.
Me too.
While we're finishing up, it's kind of like my hair, which bounces a lot. We've been thinking about art that's pretty old, right? The art around us here is about 65 years old. Did I do that math right?
65?
75.
75.
And then the other art we saw was more than 100 years old. We're going at the very last minute before we walk out, we're going to look at something that's only about 6 years old. Now 7, now that we're in 2019. So if it's 7 years old, when was it made?
7 years old. Wait, that's 19, 18, 17, 16, 15. 2013.
2012.
2012?
Yeah, because you counted 19, which you need to start after 19. So we're going to look at something from 2012 very quickly before we finish up, because it's my favorite painting in the whole show. I know. So you ready to move on to that?
Ready to move on for it.
Okay. I'm going to take your... Actually, we'll hang on to the boards for right now. That's easier to keep the drawing. If she were someone you knew, what word would you use to describe her? Is
You
she
can see
happy?
the eyelashes.
Is she sad? What do you think?
Famous.
She seems really big, like she should be famous, right? Who else gets to have such a large painting made of them?
She gonna be for the
Jim, you want to come join us?
music. I think
We're gonna look at this one
the
together.
musical artist.
Maybe she's a musical artist. I don't actually know who she is, but she's pretty fancy.
She looks fierce.
She does, right? She looks like...
You don't know who it is.
Her name is Dean, but I don't know much about her.
Ross.
Oh, did you hear?
I didn't
Say that
hear.
again.
Diana Ross.
She looks like Diana Ross, right? Somebody else said she looks like Foxy Brown. But she looks really strong. And I really like this painting. Do you think you could walk in this room and just pass by her without looking at her?
I forgot. You can see the diamonds right on the eye shadows and the lips.
And here,
Earrings.
right? Yeah. And what about here?
Her hair.
Not her hair so much, but her eyebrows.
Oh, eyebrows.
Right? They're all sparkly too. So I really like this. And we were thinking about the cloth, and we said the cloth we looked at had patterns, the ones you were holding. Look at all the patterns here.
There's flowers on background.
There are flowers on the background and also on her dress, right? Yeah. So this one's pretty special. So we started in 1827, and we went right up until 2012, thinking about different paintings and drawings that artists did of black women who modeled for them. And we got to do our own faces, right? With not so many lines. I was not that generous. I was stingy with the lines. But you all did a really, really nice job. And with that, I think we're going to wrap up. We're a little bit over our tour time, so I don't want to keep you too late here, because it's, I know it's nighttime and it's cold out. I want to be home and warm, but I really appreciate everything you noticed today and all of the art you made, so thank you. Really
Thank you
nice
so
job.
much.
Thank you so much, Harry. Welcome.
So what we're going to do, we're going to bring the stools back out to the front. I'm going to take the clipboards when we get out there. You can keep your drawings, you can keep the wire sculptures you made. The boards I need to keep so we can use them again. But let's
All right.
walk everything out. Now, so you want to pick